What's going on, guys? I can't believe it has been 3 months since I posted my last video, but it makes sense based on what I'm going to show you today. I've been in the lab cooking. I made this video over on TikTok. If you're not following me, follow me here. I don't really post that much, but hopefully I'm going to be better at repurposing content. Rank and bank with underscores. Follow me there. I made this super quick video of just going over these projects that I've made with AI since I made this video. And this video was inspired by Network Chuck. He was using it to write YouTube scripts using Obsidian. And that just kind of got me started on this big journey literally 3 months ago. So now we're into the first part of February. So November and December, I produced definitely over 20 websites and web applications and tools. So it's crazy what you can do with AI in the terminal. I'm also on this channel going to get into Claudebot. I don't know if you guys have seen anything about Claudebot. Now it's called OpenClaw. It's taking the world by storm. I'm going to be covering that in future videos because that has literally 1000x'd my productivity on top of just using AI in the terminal. So I'm going to go through these websites. I'm going to show you what I've built in the last couple of months. I've kept my head down. I've also packaged everything I learned into a course, which I'll tell you about later. It's just a one-time payment. You can hop in, you can learn all of this. You can literally make an AI web agency overnight where you don't need to have employees. You can just essentially vibe code websites and ship them and charge thousands of dollars. And you can do that in about an hour. So you can have like $5,000 per hour going rate if you really want to. So hop into the first one. I want you guys to get a sense of the quality that we've hit with AI because I actually purchased the HWP top tier license for $1,300. I bought that, I believe that was last year, maybe 2 years ago, for WordPress, and I don't think I'm ever going to use it. We've reached this point with AI web development where you can create a website. Really, 6 months ago, if you created a website and you wanted a little change, these little icons right here, they're not perfectly aligned. I can literally hop in my terminal. I can screenshot this. I can tell Claude Opus 4.5 to edit that, fix it, and it will within seconds. And it will deploy it to and GitHub will auto deploy to my hosting. So a few months ago, this was impossible. You would tell AI to change something and the whole website would break, right? Lovable, Bolt.new, all of those platforms are essentially obsolete, I think, at this point. And it's interesting because those are really just wrappers for the AI. They were wrappers for AI in the terminal, which is what I teach you how to use locally. So you can just open your terminal. Right here, I have Claude open for one of my websites, and I can just tell it to run it on the local host right here, and it's running. So that's the problem with those lovable, all of those kind of platforms, AI web development tools, is that they put you in their walled garden, so to speak. And funny enough, all of those are actually owned by hosting companies like Vercel and Netlify. So it makes sense. The issue is that if I wanted to launch a website like this, I would be paying $20 per month per website. So that gets way out of reach if I'm launching 20 of these in a couple months. $400 in hosting fees. Nope, not gonna happen here. I'm paying less than probably $10 per month hosting 25 plus projects. And a website like this actually probably costs 1 penny per month. And then Google gives you some credits back on that. So it's actually essentially free. And you can also launch one of these on Cloudflare pages for free, absolutely for free. So lots of stuff to get into. I'm rambling. Let's just go through these really quick. Here's another one for kitchen and bathroom remodeler in Maryland. And the design looks good, right? It's a cohesive brand. We got hover effects, nice section here with hover effects. If you were going to build this, I mean, this is like a 10K website, right? Look at these tooltips. I didn't even have to tell it to make this section. It just did it automatically, right? It's getting kind of crazy what you can do with AI. So that's that one. Let's move on to this one. This is actually on my local host right now, still working on it. And this is actually replacing a WordPress website I paid a lot of money to develop, and it took way too long. It took 2 months. There's broken stuff everywhere. The on-page SEO is terrible. I think that's really part of where we're at right now, is even if you wanted to hire someone cheap overseas, it's still going to cost you a few hundred to a few $1,000s. They're going to make mistakes, and it would have been better to just have an AI do it. So that's essentially where we're at. Again, really nice hover effects. Obviously still work in progress. I need an image for these two. Perfect internal linking. That's a huge thing. So it will programmatically set up these components. So if another service is added, it will programmatically insert that into various components across the website. So you don't have to worry about internal linking. You don't have to worry about the slugs in WordPress and if they're correct. You don't have to search for pages. You don't have to do any of that anymore if you're building websites with AI, right? Beautiful table right here with hover effects. Stuff like this, like the VIP club, I didn't prompt it to make this. It knows what it's building. So from content to business strategy, business development, lead generation, it just knows exactly what to do for the project at hand, right? Here we have process section. It knows that it's a plumber, so it knows that it needs to have coupons, typically found on every plumbing website. It's good design. It really is. So this is a good one. So many sections to go through, but oh yeah, I was messing around with this scrolling Sasquatch. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments about that. I might just have him stand. He's doing the thing that Sasquatch do, hidden in the trees in like campsite. So let's move on to the next one. Cloud concrete. So this is actually one of the first ones I made with AI, and I wanted to test creating a content heavy website for a niche that has so many sub-services. So if you're just going after a concrete contractor, you're going to get some leads, right? But you're going to get even more leads if you're going after driveway installation, right? Or driveway contractor. So the more you build out your website, the more leads that you're going to capture because you have a dedicated page for that service, right? Google doesn't rank websites, it ranks pages, individual pages, and exactly what they're optimized for, right? And you drill down to, hey, broom finish. Is anyone searching for that? I don't know, but if they are, guess who's going to get the lead, right? Making a website like this previously would require a lot, right? It would require a lot of content creation, a lot of site mapping, architecture, on-page SEO, internal linking. And then here's the kicker. So for Google Maps, I actually have a page dedicated for every single neighborhood. So this is pushing local relevance down to the neighborhood level. And so it says district challenges. This is unique for Ballard, Seattle. And then all of these concrete driveways specifically for Ballard. And you're probably wondering like, okay, people, they probably don't search per neighborhood, do they? They might not, but this absolutely influences the Google Map ranking. And just to show you what that looks like, coming off into the off season right here in September, see if I can zoom in here. So coming off in September, we took a tumble and I was like, oh, we're in the off season. I might as well redesign this website because we're kind of skipping across the bottom. And this is exactly 3 months ago when I started to get into local AI web development. So I started to dip my toes in it and I launched it somewhere in early December. And look at how the impressions just skyrocket, even in the off season, in the dead of winter. We are just taking off. And this is probably people doing a little bit of research before springtime, right? Seeing who's out there, not necessarily calling or becoming a lead yet. And I also think this is a lot of bots as well, because this website has over 1,000 pages. So it probably attracts a lot of traffic from all corners of the internet. And I actually did start to block certain countries. So I blocked Singapore, I blocked China, I blocked Russia on Cloudflare. So at the DNS level, I just blocked those countries because I saw that the majority of the traffic were coming from those countries. And I said, look, I don't need it. They're obviously not my target market. I don't know what they're doing. They're probably doing AI scraping for AI models for content. But here you can see it stabilized after I did that. And if it has this level of growth in the off season, it just makes me very excited for the actual on season. And I'm getting paid $100 per lead from this website. So that will be a really good one this year. Probably bring me 15 to 20K this year just for having this online and ready to go. So let's move on to the next one. This is a consumer facing website for wealth management. I saw someone make a video about what niche they would move into if they had to start over, and they picked wealth management. So I was like, okay, I'll throw this up. This was probably my second website I made with AI. And I made this actually sitting on my in-laws' couch over Thanksgiving break. So it's all the way at the beginning of my journey starting this. And I think it did a really nice job. You have hover effects here. We have location pages for specific keywords. These are very high ticket leads, obviously, because financial advisor takes 1.5% of assets under management and they get a few $1,000,000 in there. It's pretty good, right? We got nice iconography here. And really, this is just for content, very content heavy for answering people's questions, generating traffic through helpful content, right? That's basically it. This will actually shoot over to Go High Level via a webhook. So that's integrated as well. So you don't have to worry about sending emails from the website like you do with WordPress. You have to set up a sending server or SMTP or something. All right, so this one is a pretty cool one. I had an idea to have an AI damage analyzer. So this is actually hooked up to Claude Vision, and this will actually allow you to upload a photo of your car accident and have AI analyze it. And actually, once this form is submitted, AI analyzes the submission details and it will send a beautiful HTML email to the client that scores the lead based on merit of the actual accident and the details. So this actually saves probably 1 to 2 hours of the attorney's time per lead, just scoring it based on merit. If it's a good lead, I think it's a score out of 100. So this is a really cool one. And we have a page for every state in the US. Of course, I'm doing car accident help, which is different than car accident attorney, but we do have those pages as well. The AI did an amazing job just getting down to specific cities, population, annual accidents, statute of limitations for injury deadline, number of major highways, fault system, if it's an at-fault state or it's not, total loss, minimum coverage. Lots of really good information. I will come to this website and I will look stuff up next time I'm in an accident. Knock on wood, that doesn't happen, but it's just a really helpful website. And it's now a resource that I can use, that my friends can use. I can just send them the link, and it's pretty cool. Even if it doesn't make money, it is a cool thing to build with AI. And there's a couple other projects I'm going to show you that are just cool that I personally wanted to use. Here's another one I did for actually a student in our community at Rankin Bank. He acquired a client and then he was curious about AI web development. So I said, hey, I'll just build you a site just so you can see what it looks like. So this is for duct cleaning. And I spent a little bit more time on the prompting for the UI. I said, hey, I want it to be light and airy, lots of white space, obviously alluding to clean ducts and clean air. So I think it did a really nice job. Very reminiscent of Apple, I would say. These blues and the rounded corners on the buttons. Very reminiscent of Apple. This is a Go High Level form that this student provided to me from their account. So all the leads flow directly into Go High Level for them, and then he can do lead routing from there. Really cool website. This is probably a 60 to 70 page website because it covers all of these areas. And literally 24 hours after we launched this website, he already got a lead. So it's pretty crazy what actually happens after you launch perfectly optimized websites. Here's another one. I actually pre-sold this guy. I talked about this in the group. I made a post about not acquiring him as a client, but then I said, hey, if I could get leads for this service, would you take them? And he said, absolutely. And I launched this. I got a lead, I think it was like 2 or 3 days later. Brand new domain, brand new phone number, no social profiles yet, just strictly organic impressions on Google. getting very specific into locations. The lead was actually from Sudden Valley, so it makes sense that he found this page. And just good looking site. It's kind of boxy, very appy, but I think it's easy for people to consume content if they're kind of these little cards. Your eye can just focus on one piece of content at a time. It took about an hour, probably a 70-page website. All right, so this is the new Rank and Bank website. So rankandbank.ai, link in the video description if you want to check this out. And this is our community for everything that I teach. I obviously give a lot more information inside the community than I do on YouTube. I have more time to just make posts in the community than I do to make YouTube videos, obviously. So if you want to join, 79 bucks a month, you get access to the courses, or the inner circle if you want access to me, private chat lounge and Zoom coaching calls. You can join that as well. And I think that is kind of a big value add, is the coaching calls and access to me, because then I can answer your questions directly. Obviously, the lifetime deal, this is what I used to sell the course for. This is the best bang for your buck, because you pay this one time, and based on the inner circle price of getting access to me, that would be about 20 months, so less than 2 years, and you have lifetime access to all of my content. I should actually put in, this is incorrect. This should include all of those things. Good catch, Jordan. I need to fix that. That's essentially how the math works out. Lifetime deals are always worth it. So you can join right there, or you can join for free. You can just come in the community, check it out. You can see all of the spaces in there. You won't have access to anything, but you can at least see what's going on in there. I do have a free community chat or posting in there if you do want to check that out, make some posts. This was all built with AI in a couple hours, and I think it did a pretty good job. We have some student results right here. Actually need to update this. That is Rank and Bank. So if you are interested, I did just drop the additional AI web agency training, and for $100 per month Claude Code subscription, I was able to build all of these websites in the last 2 months. So if you're looking to do solopreneur, just building websites like crazy, finding a client, charging them $5,000 or a couple grand, whatever it is, and building that website and launching it in under an hour, or if you really want to perfect it and not look weird that you shipped a website in under an hour for them, might raise some red flags, this is the place to be. I go over exactly how to do it, how to set up your workflow to use Claude Code, how to set up GitHub, how to push things to GitHub using the terminal, how to set up hosting, using skills and agents is a big one. I give you, I think, 3 agents that I've personally curated for this specific workflow of moving your files from GitHub to the web server. There were a few kinks to work out, but now I have it in an agent. So you just call on the agent and it does all of those tasks automatically. So that's a huge time saver, because you're not going to be going back and forth and sending logs to them when it doesn't work. It will work probably right off the get-go. Go ahead and join if you want access to that. Let's get back to it. So this is an interesting one. This is actually pulling RSS feeds directly from LA Times and a few other news sites, and actually have it running through an N8N automation where it will produce the content automatically. And you can see here we're having some issues with duplicate content. And I actually have a code node in the N8N automation to kind of reduce this, but obviously I need to go back and fix it. But this is essentially a PBN now. So this is an automated PBN that doesn't use a footprint like a WordPress website would use. If you know anything about PBNs, of course I got the dark mode on here. Anything about PBNs or private blogging networks, every website you have on the network should use a different set of WordPress plugins and WordPress themes and configuration and everything. It also needs to use different servers, different IP addresses. It's very sensitive to leaving a footprint, essentially, that Google can pick up on. This is a fully custom React app. So in a way, every time you build a website like this, it's going to be different, right? Obviously, Google or AI is going to use different patterns, I guess, or different ways, or the same way of coding a React app. but you could say, hey, switch it up, make different components. Obviously, you change the design every time, but this is actually using, I believe this newsletter actually works. This is using a custom API that just goes directly into a newsletter gathering system. And then in the future, if people are actually signing up for the website, then I can probably use it. I have advertising space right here once the traffic starts picking up. And we can just take a look here. And you can see that this is actually starting to get impressions and clicks for doing really nothing. And the average position is actually 11, which is pretty solid for not doing any backlinking whatsoever, just posting content on this website. So long story short, this will be a website that for all of my California websites, I can come to one of these articles and I can come down here in the content and then I could say, hey, put a link to my website using this anchor text, right? And it will be an extremely topical link because that's California in it, right? Hope you see where I'm going with this, or if you know anything about SEO, it's an automated PBN, right? So it's a pretty cool system that I just kind of spun up really quickly just to test it. And this is one of those tools I was talking about that isn't necessarily for rank and rent or a client website like this, but it's an internal tool that I can use to just better my process and ultimately the results that I bring to my clients. So here's my personal agency website that I redesigned in Next.js, and this is actually using the Astro framework as well for completely static pages, which is really good for crawling, bots, scraping, indexing in Google essentially, because a lot of these websites that AIs create, or actually all of them, are React apps, and that's just Next.js or TypeScript and JavaScript. The problem with that is bots and crawlers can't actually read JavaScript because it is a client-side rendering. So what that means is when you come to a React app or a JavaScript website, your browser actually reads that JavaScript and then it starts to show you the content, right? Similar to an HTML website where it would just show the content. So the reason you want it in an Astro framework is that it will serve static HTML pages. So then when the crawler comes, it will just read the content as it is. But it can't do that unless it's a static page. So all of these AI website tools, they will build JavaScript websites. And then you're kind of like, okay, well, now what? But I actually created an Astro migration agent. So all I have to do after I build a AI website is I come to my terminal and I say launch the Astro migration agent, hit enter, and it will go through a 10 to 15 minute process with all of these tasks to basically refactor the website into an Astro framework. So refactor all of the components, all of the React islands, all of that stuff into static HTML, which is really good for SEO and ranking and everything. I have these cool little custom hover effects on these cards right here. It just follows my mouse. I have these animations for every section as they pop up to hold people's eyes down the page. Really a good looking website. I really like how this turned out. And this is programmatic SEO. So this is actually creating pages for specific industries so I can rank in specific markets. And this is actually a national website. So I have hundreds and hundreds of internet marketing landing pages where people have come to this page and they've become leads just because I had this page indexed in Google. So that's really cool. Programmatic SEO is super powerful once you combine that with AI to basically just build everything for you. All right, so now we're getting into more of the fun projects. I saved the best for last. So this is my personal website, jordanwashere.com. Of course, we have the dark mode and we have the light mode. And I really wanted like a cyberpunk bento box design. And I wanted a central place where I could post just blog posts, photography projects that I'm working on. So here is a blog post about going to Japan. I have custom light boxes with the alt text right here. And it's just a really cool spot to collect everything that I do throughout my life. And I think everyone should have a personal website like this that lives outside of social media, because social media is noisy and you don't really have a dedicated place to show what you've been up to, what you've done over the course of your life. Up here, of course, we have instant search as well. We have projects, we have tags right here. The project page is interesting because it is specifically for projects, so I can actually have the tech stack right here, which is different than a blog post. So this is technically a custom post type built in here specifically for projects. And then of course I have the photography page. So this has all of these tags right here, so you can quickly just filter to a specific tag. You can look at the image, and then I want a print of this, which goes to a custom contact page for print inquiry, and it actually autofills the contact form with what print they were looking at. So it streamlines the whole thing. I didn't want to go as far into e-commerce where they can just print or purchase something directly, because we needed to talk about framing, sizes, printing on metal, canvas, paper, all that kind of stuff. So there's details to figure out. This will go directly to me in a simple message, simple email, and then we can go from there. And then of course we have this cool cyberpunk neural mesh, 99.7% uptime. I think up here it says acid rain in sector 7. Really cool cyberpunk vibes I was going for, but it also links to portfolio items or new photos that I add to the website. It will just add it to that scrolling banner, which is really cool. It's a really cool website, but you're like, Jordan, how do you manage this website? Because if you ditch WordPress, which by the way, in 2026, WordPress is dead to me. Unless a client specifically requests WordPress, I am done building in WordPress. So there goes my HWP license kind of out the window. I'll probably sell it, honestly, if someone is interested. But I built a custom admin panel. So check this out. This is everything I need and nothing of what I don't, right? When you log into WordPress, it is such an old system that there's all these plugins over here in the sidebar that you add for the functionality, and everything is mishmashed together, and it's gotten pretty confusing. This is literally just like, hey, I have a dashboard, I have posts, right? And this is going to a Supabase, so it's a custom database, fully locked down. Projects, right? I can come in here, I can edit this project. This is using Markdown, so I can just shorthand write 2 pound symbols for an H2, or I can use the WYSIWYG editor up here. I can add images that way. I can look at the preview right here of what that looks like. I can tag it over here. I can mark it as featured, reading time, live project URL. I can link to GitHub, right? Tech stack, comma separated right here. All of this stuff is custom. You can just tell it to add all of these elements, which I did. I just wrote a paragraph of, I want to be able to add tags. I want to be able to add the live URL. I want to be able to add a tech stack. You just give it what you want and it will do it for you automatically. Here's that image upload area. So all these are being stored in Supabase, and I can just filter by tags like you can on the front end, which is really cool. And then settings and whatnot. So this is an example of my personal website, but we can just go ahead and log in to my agency website as well. And the agency website has a lot more stuff going on, because this is actually going to be a central hub for my business, right? So for this, I'm creating a YouTube series on my other channel, Standball Designs, for who's taking all the leads, right? It's kind of like a game show thing. Who's taking all the leads? And you can just spin this, and I will literally do an audit for restoration companies in Albuquerque, New Mexico. That will be the topic for the video. I will go through everyone ranking. I will go after, show people's heat maps, backend analytics that people are probably wondering about their competitors. So I thought that'd be a cool series. So I just threw that into my website, right? I just threw it in here as a tool. It shows you what industries are included, what cities are included. Simple, right? It's just a simple tool that will spin through these options. It's visual for the YouTube video. And it's just an idea that I had and built in 15 minutes, right? But beyond that, beyond adding blog posts and portfolio items, I actually have my analytics, which is Ribbit, integrated directly into the dashboard. So this is actually just an iframe using a public link from my Ribbit analytics. I actually just ditched Google Analytics. This is going today, but we can switch it to 60 days. And instead of 6 hours, we can do 3 days. There we go. So you can see all these people around the world who's coming to your website. And this is cool if you're obviously looking at my market, which is the US, what pages are actually hitting in Google search. And this is fully GDPR compliant without a cookie notice, which is really cool because it doesn't actually cookie the user's device. So I don't need to have GDPR cookie anything on the website. And that's actually why I decided to use Ribbit over anything else. But you can see a timeline of what page they came in on and where they exited, right? It's a really cool system for having analytics embedded. And I'm going to start doing this for all of my clients who I'm going to convince them to not go on WordPress. I'm going to build them a custom dashboard like this, embed their analytics directly into their website so they really don't have to log into multiple tools and do context switching all the time. So that's analytics. That is the niche spinner. We're going to have leads coming in here from the contact forms on the website that are currently going to Go High Level. They can come in here as well. But I'm also building a lead hub, which I started on yesterday. So I have all of these webhook endpoints because I have multiple sources of leads, right? I have the phone number, which is in Twilio. I have Deft forms, I have Go High Level forms, I have Gravity forms, right? So there's all of these lead sources, and I wanted to pull all of them into a centralized lead hub or a lead portal for my clients. So I can just add a client here and I can give them access to their leads that I'm generating either from their website or a rank and rent website. So it's really cool that I can just build that. I can just vibe code the tool and then I can stop paying for lead management systems. Like I am paying probably about $3,000 or $4,000 per year for a tool that essentially does this exact same thing. So I'm just building this and it's going to be live in my own website dashboard for free. That's a really cool thing that I'm building as well. AuctionHaus. So this is live, it's working, but I haven't really launched it. But this is essentially eBay auctions for artists because artists probably don't want to sell their artwork next to like Pokemon cards and whatnot. So this will allow artists to set a reserve price for one of their paintings, for example, and just set up an auction. And in their profile, they can just link to this in social media. So my idea is that I just need to onboard artists and the collectors and the buyers will come from their social media, right? And I built this as a tool for myself because I didn't know how to price my artwork. I do oil painting, acrylics, I draw, I do a lot of black work, and I didn't really know how to price my artwork. So I figured, hey, might as well create an auction style platform where I can just set a price or set a starting point and just let people bid on it. So people can actually come here, they can get a public share link, they can copy this link, and then they can get simple link clicks, analytics right here, and then they can just send people to specific auctions that they have going on. The reason I'm not launching this quite yet is I need a new business license to get a new Stripe account because when artists connect their bank account, it says Standby Designs, which is my agency. So I want it to say AuctionHaus, but I need a new business license for that to happen, or at the very least, DBA, doing business as, for the state. So I'm trying to get this organized to launch, but a really cool tool for artists to actually get paid more, for collectors to actually bid on artwork and collect with confidence. I'm doing no buyer's premium. The artists keep 80%. So if you sell artwork in a gallery, the gallery keeps 50% of the sale of the artwork. I'm going to only keep 20%, actually 17% because I eat the Stripe credit card fees as well. You know, artists essentially keep 80%, which is a really good thing, I think. And I'm going to verify every artist that comes in, and the money actually goes into escrow. So I actually don't touch the money. It's using Stripe Connect to put the money in escrow. So when the artist submits a tracking number for sending their artwork for a winning bid, and the collector knows that their artwork is on the way, then the money that the collector paid will move out of escrow into the artist's account. Join the new art economy if you're an artist. Check this out. You can make an account. This is working to sign up. So just come in here, make a free account. You know I got that dark mode, which I think breaks this hero animation whenever I flip it. I think I need to reload this for it to work. But here's a hidden feature. If you click, it will change the color. Pretty neat. You now know a hidden feature of the website that no one else in the world knows. This is my favorite one. Thank you if you've stayed to the end. I know this is kind of a long video. I've been rambling for 44 minutes at this point. Vault Keeper. I collect collectibles. The other day, I went and I purchased $20 worth of Conan the Barbarian comics, because why not? I was never a big comic book guy, but I actually wanted to run a test for this website. And essentially, this is the world's first multi-category collection tracker. And what I mean by that is you can collect your Pokemon, your Magic cards, but also any other thing you have. So sneakers, if you have Jordans or gold coins, Funko Pops, vinyl records, watches, antiques, stamps, action figures. The reason that you can collect everything in here is I'm actually using AI recognition. So this is hooked up to Claude Vision. So Claude will actually, you can snap a photo and it will know what that item is. So if we log in here, I can just show you, let me just show you these Conan comics right here. So these are actually all stored in a Supabase database. And what's really cool is after I spent 20 bucks, I came in here, I had Claude Vision recognize what series, what number of comic it was, because it says right up here in the corner and it can read that. So I just bought $150 worth of comics for 20 bucks. Pretty cool, right? And now all of this is tracked in here, and if I want to send this to a shop or a collector, I can create a public link, turn on showcase mode, and now I have a public link where I can come here to a new tab, and this is the public version of that specific collection. So they could come in here and they can see the value and they can make a decision, and there's actually a little view analytics right up here, how many people have seen it. Pretty cool. So this is the equivalent of having a trade binder in person. You take your trade binder of Pokemon cards or Magic cards and you go in person and you let people flip through it. This is the exact same thing. So if we come back here, I can come here to my Pokemon cards. Obviously, I haven't added all of them in here, but these are a few of the original 151 shadowed cards that I have. And this is also a really cool feature of Vault Keeper, is that once this loads right here, this will show you the normal price of the card, but it'll show you if you got this PSA graded, how much it's actually worth. And this has actually gone up quite a bit. I think it was worth $16,000 last I checked a month ago. So it's cool that it'll show you this, and I am actually kind of like an investor. Like I have sealed Magic product, I have sealed Pokemon product as well. I'm not like a scalper, not like that investor, but I will buy and hold for a few years and just flip it. It has notifications here for portfolio going up or down, so it will pull and ping your current portfolio value, and it will update automatically. And it's cool to just see how much you're holding in your vault. See over time, is your stuff increasing in value? Is it decreasing in value? So having that knowledge to actually make decisions, I think is pretty huge. So here I actually have reserve list Magic the Gathering cards, but you can actually edit this item and you can put in the purchase price. And once you save the changes, it should show you on the dashboard. So this actually updated on your total profit and loss based on your initial cost. And it says 31 costs needed. So I need to add the cost basis to 31 items. I've thought of everything, right? You can browse products right here. So if you want to add Charizard, you can just type it in instead of just using your phone to scan it with the AI analyzer. You can come in here, you can find the correct edition. I have all Pokemon cards in the database. I have all 111,000 Magic cards in the database as well. So here you can see all of the Black Lotuses. You can see all items right here. You can quick select right here to see the value and export it to CSV or JSON. And you can see analytics here of split between all of your collections, top movers right here, top losers, other item analytics. It's a really cool system. Here's that AI scanner, or manual entry is actually probably the best because here, again, you can just type in a name for Magic and Pokemon and it'll pop up right away and you can select the correct edition. So yeah, really cool project, and I just vibe coded this. It took me about a week. It took me about a week to put this together. There was a lot of back and forth with creating SQL database with all of these individual data points, right? All of these need a place to live in the database. That was a little bit difficult to go back and forth, but again, AI and Claude just gave me the SQL migration that I could just add to Supabase and it will automatically build all of the tables. So this was a really fun one. If you're looking somewhere to track your collection, definitely check it out. Free plan is super generous. You can have 3 different collections, 100 items, 10 AI scans per month. You can do exports if you want to, even, or it's just $5 a month. Super nominal if you want to get started with that. And of course, I got that Grok Imagine Stone Griffin as the Vault Keeper mascot. Check that out if you're interested in finding a keeper of your vault. So what do you guys think? What do you think of my AI web design portfolio that I've built in the last couple of months? Let me know down in the comments what you think. And if you're interested in learning my entire process of building these websites, join this community. Here you can see the curriculum. It is very streamlined, straight to the point, and I give you my agents to really streamline the process of doing AI web development locally so you can get these shipped out to your clients, or you can build rank and rent assets lightning speed. So let me know what you think down in the comments. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one.